headlines and our top story today. While weeks before Zomato is expected to announce its March quarter financial results, the food delivery giant has increased its platform fee by 25% to rupees 5 per order. You wouldn't have even noticed that. Zomato had earlier increased the platform fee on Jan 1st itself of this year to rupees 4 from rupees 3. Meanwhile, Zomato has also suspended Intercity food delivery service called Intercity Legends. But what does this really mean for the sector? Will others also follow? What does it mean for Zomato's upcoming quarterly results? We'll decode all of that with Akshaye Jalan of Xume. But first, let's take a look at this consolidated report filed by my colleague Sharath.
Well, yes, Zomato is in focus as they have increased or hiked their platform fee charges, and now this is coming in at 5 rupees per order. Here this was at 4 rupees, so there is a hike of almost 25%. Now Zomato will be applying this platform fee in addition to delivery charge, and this is applicable in the markets, in the key markets of Bangalore, NCR, Mumbai and so forth. Also, they have paused the intercity travel of the distribution of the products, and analysts are stating 85 to 90 crore of EBITDA addition is expected of this move. Last year in August it was introduced at almost 2 rupees per order, and there has been hikes coming in till date. Also, if you look at the current levels of the platform fee players, Zomato, if you look at it, they are having a food delivery service. 5 rupees is the order, while Swiggy also is coming in at 5 rupees. Now it's expected, as per channel checks, that there might be another hike for Swiggy as they prepare themselves for the IPO this year. Blinkit service from Zomato, that's charging almost 2 rupees of platform fee, while for Zepto it is coming in at 3 rupees. Interestingly, Instacart from Swiggy has not started levying this charge yet. Now, how much will a burger cost? And we did a small channel check of ordering a burger in the vegetarian section in Mumbai within a radius of 5 kilometers from our studios, and we got to know that the original cost of the burger is below 300 mark, but while the final payment comes more than 400. There's a small thin line item apart from the usual GST restaurant charges and your taxes and the cost of the burger itself. The thin line of platform fees, that number is 5 rupees now. It looks as a small number, but the amount of volume which Zomato does, it adds a significant impact when it comes to the bottom line numbers.
Thanks, Sharath, for getting us all of those details. So it's not really your burger, but your overall cuisines that are all set to get more expensive. And to discuss this further, I'm now joined by Akshaye Jalan, the founder and CEO of Xume. Akshaye, so multiple hikes have happened earlier. The first that happened in 2023 from 2 rupees to 3 rupees, 4 rupees. In fact, what we also saw was in December, the platform fee temporarily hiked to 9 rupees. But now 2 rupees 5, and this is not temporary. This is going to stay on for a while. I want to understand how will it really help unit economics of the company?
As far as the question is concerned, obviously something magical has just happened, right? Zomato has agreed, or Zomato has passed on a rupee more to consumers as a platform fee. Now that contributes directly to the bottom line, making the unit economics, as you referred to it, very favorable for a company like Zomato.
Right. So Zomato caters to about 85 to 90 crore orders annually, and an increase in each rupee one convenience across geographies could really lead to a positive impact of 85 to 90 crore on EBITDA, is what some of the experts have told us. What is your view then on operational performance quarter on quarter for the company?
I think we should look at this in two parts, right? You mentioned 85 to 90 crore as the volume of orders that are expected this financial year for Zomato. Now, two things have happened, right? One is that they have been able to successfully increase the platform fee from 2 rupees in April 2023 to 5 rupees now in April 2024, which means that's a 2.5x increase in a matter of 8 months. That's the kind of bottom line that they have been able to add just by adding one dimension to their operations. So that itself is a massive pat on the back, not only for the business model of Zomato, but also for the stickiness of its consumers that has not shied away from paying a mere rupee, and they increase their increments of 1 rupee each, paying an extra rupee to get the convenience of food being delivered to them at a click of a button. So I think from a business model perspective, this augurs really well for Zomato. And obviously, if you look at the EBITDA that you were talking about, if we do 85 crore orders, and if you multiply that by 1 rupee, then that's an 84 to 90 crore bottom line increase, which is fabulous for any company, especially one as big as Zomato.
Right. So you speak about the EBITDA impact. I want to go back to what you just said about customers not really figuring out whether that has been increased or not. And honestly, even I did not. And I'm not really liking this at all. But any view really on how this has been largely received by customers, or are enough customers paying attention to this addition?
So, the customer, you and I are customers, right? And the first thing that we do is we evaluate whether what is being charged is worth it. Now, one thing that Zomato is doing is that it's increasing it in terms of a rupee. Now, a rupee or 100 paisa, if you want to break it down that way, is not a lot of money for a lot of customers, because the value that they're getting in being able to get their favorite foods being delivered as conveniently as a Zomato or a Swiggy does is worth the additional rupee. And remember, Zomato is not setting the bar. Zomato is actually catching up to the other member of the duopoly, which is Swiggy, which is already at 5 rupees. So I think, from a value perspective for a consumer, it's okay at this point, because now you have two incumbents battling it out for my share, mind and wallet that are charging equivalent fees. Also, if you look at the landscape at large, what's happening? Zomato was experimenting with a 2 rupee platform fee in certain markets. Book My Show already charges a platform fee. If you book an airline ticket or you book a hotel, the chances are you are paying some platform or convenience fee. So the concept of paying for services, something that was never considered possible 10, 20 years ago in the Indian economic landscape, is becoming a reality. And because so many consumers are moving towards convenience, trumpeting anything else, I think this trend is here to stay. Now, how far they can go with the increase is, up to, I think, the future to tell us. But the fact that they've been able to move it from 2 to 5, that's a massive increase.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that, of course, how far will it go? That's something that, of course, that'll be interesting to watch out for, considering that consumers now don't have a choice. I want to understand, will the norm then continue? I know that you've stated that we don't know how far this can go, but will we see any more platform resort to fee increases in this almost a duopoly market almost immediately in the near term?
I think, like I said, the landscape itself is increasing platform fees. And with other members in the ecosystem, maybe not necessarily direct competition, because it is a duopoly like you referred to, but as long as other categories and other services increase platform or convenience fees, consumers are going to get habituated by that. And I think that's the big shift that is now happening, right? Zomato and Swiggy and everybody else that was in the food tech space was chasing and burning money to acquire customers. That was the single-minded objective. Now the shift is towards the art of dhanda, the how do we make money, how do we monetize what we have already burnt acquiring. And I think that is what is heartening to see, the ability to do so at a scale of 85 to 90 crore orders, right? So that to me signals that consumers, after doing the math, after evaluating, are willing to pay a slight increment for the service that they're getting.
Right. I want to also get your view, Akshay, on the Intercity service Zomato has suspended. What do you think is the trigger behind that, and what is going to be the impact of that? Now, analysts, of course, say that 85 to 90 crore to may be added each year. But do you want to speak separately about this suspended Intercity service and its impact?
So obviously, Zomato did the math. They understood what they were trying to do, and they are looking at what makes the maximum sense for them as a business vis-a-vis customer expectation. I think, any business, especially as large as Zomato, is always looking at the consumer. And Zomato has been a consumer-first application, a consumer-first business. So, while there may be a certain loss of, goodwill that, oh my God, I'm not being able to to avail of this anymore, the heart of Zomato was not that, and it's not that. And I think Zomato is trying to focus on what it does really well, and then figuring out ways to cross-sell. And if you notice the way the Zomato application is now being structured, right, as cross-selling is happening across certain touch points. The one that I find very fascinating as a food tech founder is the cross-selling that's happening in the order tracking section of the application, because that's one that is used to figure out, oh my God, when's my order coming to me? And that's a very clever way of getting people habituated, getting people aware that there's more opportunities available. So I think you have to give credit, or you have to give the benefit of doubt that Zomato has done the math, and they've stopped certain services that they felt were not necessarily core, and are focusing on those that are core to their existence and to their growth.
Right. Finally, Akshay, before we let you go, I want to understand, will there be enough fuel for additional market share for Zomato? Also, is the market large enough to have more number of players than are already existing into the ecosystem, or will it be difficult for newer players to challenge the duopoly?
So the market is increasing, right? Day by day, quarter by quarter, you see the numbers. Obviously, at some point, there's going to be a saturated point. But given the scale that these businesses are now operating in, it seems very difficult for them to be too many players that come in and challenge the duopoly. You have other initiatives such as ONDC coming in play, and that's very exciting to see. The more options consumers have, the better it is for the market in general. But in terms of the core business of what Zomato and Swiggy and this duopoly is doing, food delivery and now for quick service, that seems very hard to have two players, right? Because it's such a capital intensive industry that it's not easy for someone to just show up and say, I'm going to come in 10%, 20% of the market. And at the same time, India is a young country. It's a country that is going to be the next economic powerhouse, if you're not there already. Everyone's talking about GDP, economic growth. Everyone's talking about the number of millennials that are looking at spending that focus more on instant gratification and buying convenience over the alternative. So I think all of these factors augurs really well. I see a massive shift towards personalization. And if you look at what Zomato and Swiggy and everybody else in this food tech space is also doing, including us at Xume, right? There is a strong shift towards that personalization element. And I think that's going to add another piece to the pie and another value offering that consumers are going to love.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Jalan, for joining us this evening, and of course, sharing your thoughts on this fee hike that has been taken by Zomato. So, weeks before Zomato is expected to announce its March quarter financial results is when this hike has come in. The big question is whether it can improve its operational performance as it's expecting and add to EBITDA. Well, those will be the key points to consider when Zomato comes out with its quarterly results. Time for us to slip into a quick break now, but don't go anywhere, because we have on the other side coming up an Apple story, and that's on the brand looking at scaling up employment opportunities in India. Stay tuned.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.